Good evening, Beruchim Abayim Rabotai. Welcome to another edition of our Thursday night class. Tonight's class is sponsored Le'ilui Nishmat Miriam Bat Yael, which her askara is tonight. May the Torah that we study and the mitzvot that comes out of it be a zechut for her neshama in Olam Haba. Amen ve'amen. Tonight we begin with a story. It was a Jew named Naphtali who worked a lot of hours a day, very hard to make parnasah. But like many people in the world, they work hard, but the fruit they don't always see. They don't have money. So on one hand he was a hard worker, but on the other hand he was broke. And today, lo aleinu v'lo alechem, we should never know such things, but a big percentage of the Jewish nation struggles from that problem, that they work very hard, but they feel like they don't make ends meet. So he didn't know what to do. So what does a Jew do when he's in need? He goes to his Rebbe. So Naphtali goes to his rabbi, and he says, Rabbi, I don't know what to do. They said, what do you mean? What's the problem? He says, I work so hard, and I can't, I'm not surviving, I don't make ends meet. Rabbi, help me, what do I do? And the Rabbi turns to this student of his, and he tells him, listen to what you should do. Every Friday in the city, there's a marketplace. I want you to go to the marketplace on Friday, 9 o'clock in the morning, and don't go to look at the booths of business. I want you to go look at the horses. Observe the horses and go home. That's what's going to help you. There's a new segula. We heard of Perek Shira, Shira Shirim, Afrashat Chala. We never heard of looking at horses before. Okay, but he's a good student. He doesn't ask questions. I was just imagining when I read this story, imagine today a rabbi would tell a student that comes to him with a problem that he can't make sense meet, go look at the horses. He would say, Rabbi, no thank you. What? Emunah Chachamim. The rabbi said he's going, no questions asked. He goes to the marketplace Friday morning, shows up 9 o'clock, follows the instructions 1-to-1, exactly like the rabbi said. And he goes looking at the horses. Steering. After an hour he says, what in the world are these horses going to help me with my parnasah? What does this rabbi want from me? So what does he do? Goes running back to the rabbi. Walks into the rabbi, it's 10:30 in the morning, and he says, Rebbe, you gave me advice, thank you very much, Chazak Baruch, but it didn't help. I saw horses, I could have went to the zoo for the same good, and I left empty-handed. I still don't have money to make Shabbat. Rabbi, I'm telling you, I don't have money for Shabbat. I need a solution. Help me out. And the rabbi tells him, listen, I want you to tell me what you saw by the horses. I said, what do you mean? I saw horses. He says, no, tell me what the horses were doing. He says, Rabbi, are you a veterinarian? Who cares what the horses were doing? Are you a horse psychologist? What does it make a difference? Tell me, I want to know what the horses were doing. So he said, I'll tell you, I observed a very interesting thing. I don't know if it has to do with anything, but if you're asking, I'll share it with you because I found it amusing. And these horses, why are they there? Because guys come to the marketplace to sell goods. Then they didn't have cars, so their transportation was a horse and buggy. So they were there to carry the stuff. But a whole day, when the guys are selling their stuff in the marketplace, they don't need their horse. And they can't bring the horse into the booth. It's not going to work out. So what do? They tie the horse on the side, or in today's terms, they park the car. The problem is when you park a car and turn it off, the car doesn't need gas anymore. When you leave a horse tied to a tree, the horse needs food. Now this guy who brought the horse there, he wants to work, he wants to make money. So he can't be busy taking care of his horse. But at the same time, he knows if he doesn't feed the horse all day, the horse is not going to work anymore. So he has to feed him. So what does he do? He takes a piece of fabric, a big piece, like he makes a satchel out of it. He fills it up with hay, horse food, a full day supply, and he ties a rope around the horse's neck, and he leaves the piece of fabric in front of the horse's mouth. Like this, he has food for the whole day, and he doesn't have to come check on him. At the end of the day, he comes to get his horse and to leave. So the rabbi is listening. He's getting a course on horses. And he turns to the guy and he tells him, I got another question, we're not done yet. So he says, oh yeah, what's your question now? So he says, does the horse eat that food that he's fed right away? So he said, Rabbi, it's interesting you ask. I observed another thing. He said, what else did you observe? He said, I observed that the horse sees in the marketplace fruits, vegetables, all different things that look a lot more tempting than hay. So he goes and he tries to reach the other stuff, to eat the other things. But he can't because he's tied. So he tries to rip out of the ropes, but it doesn't work. And what happens at the end? Imagine you have a rope tied to you and you try to get out of it and you can't. You end up getting cut. He says, so he gets injured along the way. And then he realizes there's no way out, but he's hungry. So he looks down and in front of his face he has his food and he eats his food. So the rabbi tells him, listen to what you just said. The horse has his food right in front of his face. But why does he try to rip out of his situation and instead of getting anywhere, he just gets injured by it? Because he sees something else that looks better to him. And if he sees something else that looks better to him, he wants that he doesn't want what he has. And when does he end up eating and feel full? When he realizes, but wait a second, I don't need that. I have my own food right in front of me. And once he eats his own food, is he full? He's full, he's completely satisfied. The guy leaves him enough food for the whole day. Comes the rabbi and tells his student, Naftali, listen to what you just said. Borei Olam creates a man, and along with the person, he creates a bag. And that bag has all the person's needs, every single thing he needs his whole life. All the berachot and all the yeshuot and all the parnasah, everything he needs is inside. But what happens? That our whole lives we're behaving like horses, we're busy looking at the neighbor. We're busy looking at the other neighbor. We're looking everywhere except in our own bag. And that guy has fruits that look better. And the other one has a house that's bigger, and the third one's driving a car that's fancier, and the fourth one has a better life than me. So I want that, I don't want this. And then what happens? We try to rip out of our situation to get what the other person has. But we're tied to what Borei Olam decided for us. So we get wounded along the way. Our wounded today is we feel second class, lack of confidence, depressed sometimes, angry, upset, all different things. He says, but what happens at the end? If a person wakes up and he looks down and he says, Borei Olam, thank you for giving me everything I need and you take care of me. And he doesn't look at other people, he doesn't compare himself to somebody else. Everything's fine. Everything's perfect. Nothing's missing. If everybody in the world made a certain sum of money, and you also made that amount of money, would that be enough for you? For sure. You'd feel like the happiest person in the world. But because somebody else made millions, and you made tens of thousands, so now I don't have money. So it's because of the other person. So the other person who has it is in quotations, more successful than you. You never know what's really going on by him, but that's a separate story. But you think he's more successful than you, is the cause of you being miserable for no reason. What's the foundation of the problem? We're lacking Emunah. If we would really believe, I would ask any of you, do you believe in God? Yeah, sure, 100%. Beyond reasonable doubt, I believe more than you, Rabbi. That's what somebody told me last night. I said, Amen. And then when I was done saying Amen, I told them, listen, now you're going to say the rest of the class, so I should get chizuk from you. Okay. If we really believe, so we have to believe that Kadosh Baruch Hu gives every person day machsoro, whatever he needs. So what are you looking at somebody else for? Who cares what's going on by the other person? Rabbi, it's not fair. All my classmates got married except for me. Who cares? Borei Olam decided that they should, and you shouldn't, and you'll get married later. Maybe he has a guy that's not ready yet, that still has to grow up. Maybe something else, whatever. We don't, I had recently a girl who got married when she was 25. she thought 25 is Gematria 99, I guess, based on how much she was complaining on her age. We could think 25 is old, you know, I mean, the young kids didn't start life. But okay. And for 3 years straight, without exaggeration, at least 4 days a week, I used to get a call or an email. I can't live like this, I have to get married. She got married 25, that means she started when she was 21 already. It's not normal. Rabbi, you gotta pray for me, promise me, as if I run the world or something, you know. And pray, go pray to God, what do you want from me? This can't go on. This is the. When she was 25 years old, she got engaged to a prince of a boy, a diamond, worth waiting for. Just one technicality. He's 4 years younger than her. Now imagine when she was 18, she would have got engaged. To who? To a 14-year-old. That would have not worked so well. So all the years she's busy, angry, upset, not fair, not fair, not fair. And all those years, Borei Olam and Shamayim sitting there laughing at her. I'm waiting for your husband to grow up. It should be the right time. What do you want from me? What was missing? Emunah. This is what Borei Olam does. Kol man de'avid rachmana l'tav avid. Everybody has his stop in life where this is what works out and that thing works out. And no two people are the same. I'm not that familiar with the bus routes here, so Mechila, I'll give you an example from Israel, where there I know the bus is a little bit better. So when I was in Yeshiva in Beit Vagam, we used to have a bus that started in Kiryat Yovel and went all the way down to Shah Yafo, to the Jaffa Gate, straight across the whole, half of Jerusalem cut through. Now the bus fare then, I have no clue what it is today, but then the bus fare was about 2 shekel. I'm assuming by now it's 3 or 4 times that. That's just my guess. And I used to get on the second stop. Now let's say I have to get off by Kikat Zion. That's a few stops before Shah Yafo. Would I complain and say, wait a second, driver, I paid 2 shekel. My friend paid 2 shekel. He's going to be on the bus 10 minutes more than me. Not fair. No, why? Because you paid to get to where you want to get to. You got to where you want to get to. That's it. Who cares where he's going to? Same thing in life. But Olam put you into this world. You're on a ride from here till 120, hopefully happy and healthy. This one has a stop here to get married. This one has a stop here to get married. This one has a stop here to have this thing. This one has a stop there. So you're complaining, why him, not me? It's not your stop. That's not what you need. That's not what's good for you. You don't understand why? Okay, that's your problem. You're not God. If you'd be, then you would understand. And being that you'll never be, when you go meet him face to face, you'll understand. So the first step in life is to understand if Borei Olam runs the world in Kol man de'avid rachmana l'tav avid. Every single thing that happens in life is for our good and only our good. And at that point, there is no more complaints. Everything's... Second of all, the quality of life is better because you have nothing to be miserable about anymore. You're a happy person, everything's great. I saw a Talmid Chacham a few weeks ago going into an emergency surgery, very complicated situation, and 2 minutes before he went into the surgery, he was singing. Like singing songs, the happiest person in the world. And I said, Rabbi, maybe you don't realize what's going on here, but in a few minutes, the anesthesiologist comes, you go to sleep, and when you wake up, we got to hope and pray that everything's okay, but this is not so simple. The whole Am Yisrael has to pray for you now. And he said, so, therefore, I don't understand, what's the problem? And he looks at me like I'm crazy. And I said, what are you singing about? I'd be crying right now, or trembling, or maybe both. So he said, well, yeah, Hashem sent me a gift. I said, what gift did Hashem send you? He said, surgery. I said, wait, a gift? Hashem sent you a tzarat tzrura. He said, Komande avid rachmana l'tav avid, zu kol haTorah kula, that's the foundation of everything. So this is for my good. Could be today, I don't understand why, but guess what? When you were a little kid and your mother took you to get vaccines and the doctor poked you with a needle, you also screamed and cried. And said, Mom, it's not fair. I don't want to get poked. But it's for your good. It saved you from so many other problems. So Borei Olam is the doctor. He's the doctor of them all. And if he decided that I should go through surgery, then this is the best thing for me. So I'm so happy and grateful. It's time to make a party. But he didn't just say it. You could see on a person's face what's real and what's a show. He meant it. And how do I know that he meant it? That a few hours later, when B'nisei Nisim, he came out in the best way possible from the surgery under the circumstances, and Hashem should really send this person a speedy recovery and everything in life, he continued singing. With the pain, with the suffering, it's uncomfortable, everything about it, continue singing. Hashem did with me a chesed, a favor. Now, who has a better quality of life? Us with our new S-Class Mercedes that has to stress every month how to pay the bill that we can't afford and we just got it to take our friends' eyes out in the first place? Or him that could be going in and out of surgery singing? Let's be honest, whose life is better? A CEO of a Fortune 500 company that all day stressing how his stock is going to look and which gossip column is going to write what about his company? Or this Talmid Chacham that whatever happens to him in his life, everything is always good? Who has a better quality of life? Not in Olam Haba, Olam Hazeh, in this world. Who has a better quality of life? The difference, Emunah. But not fake Emunah. Ingrained, simple faith. Emunah Pshuta. And that's really what we all aspire to get to. And B'ezrat Hashem, we should merit to get there. If we have a good look at the history of the Jewish nation and the Chachamim, the vast majority of the rabbis throughout history, and this is a frightening thing to say, suffer terribly in their lives. Terrible. Start out with the Avot HaKdoshim. Avraham Avinu, his wife was taken away with Avimelech. There was a hunger, he didn't have food, he had to go to Egypt. He didn't have kids till an old age. He had a son Yishmael, what could be worse than that? Yitzchak Avinu was blind, Nisyonot, a son Esav, other problems, fights, issues, financial issues too. At the end, he came out very wealthy, but at the beginning, Yaakov Avinu, Yosef, 22 years disappears on him. Father without a son, 22 years when he knows he's alive. He said Tarov Torah Yosef, but inside he knew he was alive, otherwise he would have forgotten about him. He tells Paro that my life was short and miserable. I suffered. The Avot. Shvatim. Yehuda had an issue with getting into Gan Eden because of his promise to his father Yaakov. Reuven was Besak v'Ta'anit his whole life. One after another. Moshe Rabbeinu. He stuttered. He had to run away. They wanted to kill him. He had this problem. Every problem in the book. Even when he became the leader of Am Yisrael, even when he took Am Yisrael out, he still didn't have a happy day. They spread every rumor in the book about him. First they said that he stole money. That's how he became rich. Stole money from the community. Then they said that the reason why he got divorced was because of adultery. Then, every time, the Midrash says this, Chashdu alei shetish bar minnan. Moshe Rabbeinu. There, and this is without the internet and all the gossip columns and blogs and all these other Rishaim today. Every one of the tzaddikim, read Sefer Tehillim, see what David HaMelech went through in his life. David HaMelech, his own brothers, the prophet writes, and he writes about himself in a different way, considered him a not kosher child, a mamzer. Until finally, the prophet came and said that Borei Olam said he should be the king, and then they realized he obviously has to be a kosher kid. You know what that is, growing up for all the years when your own family throws you out saying you're a not kosher child? That was David HaMelech. And one after another in history, the Gemara, the stories that the Gemara says about people, one after another, the Chachamim suffered greatly. And now listen to a Gemara, very famous Gemara. Gemara Brachot Tav Zayin Amud Aleph, the Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu came to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and he told him, Hodi'eini na et derachecha, God teach me your ways. Amar lefanav, he told Borei Olam, Ribono shel Olam, master of the world, Mipnei ma yesh tzadik v'tov lo, v'yesh tzadik v'ra lo. Why are there tzaddikim that have a good life and tzaddikim that have a bad life? This is what he asks Borei Olam. And if you look at the question is not a balanced question. Moshe Rabbeinu made it sound like a 50-50 split. Some tzaddikim had a very easy life, some tzaddikim had a very hard life. But if you look in Jewish history, it's not like that. It's the majority of tzaddikim had struggles every minute of the day, most of their lives, and a very small minority had a smooth life. So the question that seems so balanced in the Gemara, in the reality of Jewish history, doesn't seem that balanced. Second of all, if Moshe Rabbeinu wants to understand why it is a tzaddik that suffers, okay, we understand the question. It doesn't seem fair. But why a tzaddik has a good life? Who deserves it more than him? He's a tzaddik. God's witnessing on him that he's a tzaddik, so he should have the best life. So what's the question at all? So this is a very famous Gemara, but the whole Gemara is a pillar, one big pillar. When we envision the Rambam, what do we think? Great rabbi, wrote the Sfarim, Yad HaChazakah, and many others. A doctor, a man with great wealth, success. He was close to the king, right? He was the king's personal doctor. That's the way we all think about the Rambam. And the truth is, we're missing the majority of the Rambam's life history when we think that way. So here's a little bit of a short version of the Rambam's life story, the way Rav Avraham Baharan writes. The Rambam was born in Cordovera in Spain to his father, Rabbi Maimon, right? Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon. Okay, his father was a Dayan in Spain over there. When he was 13 years old, Muslim extremists, today we would call them the Muslim Brothers, they came in and they threatened the Jews. Either they convert to becoming Muslim or they have to leave. And his father, along with the whole Jewish community of that city, chose to leave. So he's 13 years, he has no house, they're going from place to place. And how long does this take? Not a day, a week. Sometimes we go on a flight 12 hours to Israel and then we complain 3 weeks. My neck hurts, my back hurts, the seat's so small, this, that, they lie, stupid airline, we have bad things to say about everybody. 12 hours, big deal. You went to Eretz HaKodesh, it's not worth sitting 12 hours to go to Eretz HaKodesh? Complaining. Amman didn't sit 12 hours. 12 years! From when he's 13 till he's 25, he has nowhere to live. And they go from place to place. There's no planes, and no cars, and no trains. Walking. After 12 years, they end up getting to Morocco, to a city in Morocco called Pas. I think today they call it Fez, something like that. Over there, the Muslims were also in power, Yamach Shema. And they also made many, many gezerot against the Jews. During those years that the Rambam lived under this threat of these lowlifes, he wrote a letter, a very, very famous letter called Igeret HaShmad. Shmad is Balmenan, when they come to a Jew and tell him to give up his religion, his faith. Those were the tests that the Rambam had every day. So he wrote a whole letter about it, how to deal with it, what you're supposed to say to yourself. And he writes over there, the advice that I give myself, and anybody who asks me for advice, that he should try to escape from these places that they have Zerat Hashmad, that they try to harm the Jews. And they should try to move to a place where he could keep the Torah without having to hide, to be in hiding, without anybody forcing him not to do it. So he has to go undercover Jew. Meaning the Rambam all those years lived under the situation of onus. Terrible. If you look in the short version of the Toldot Chaim of the Chafetz Chaim, that his son Rab Leib Zatzal wrote, he brings down these words. I'm going to read them in his own words and then translate. Bizichroni, he says, in his memory, that's Chaim's son. Ki diber imi pam al davar shemisaprim. And my father, the Chafetz Chaim, spoke to me about something, a story that they say over. Ki harambam zal chiber et sifro hagadol mishneh Torah. At the Rambam that wrote this great sefer, and until today we spend hundreds of hours just to learn one chapter, to understand every letter that he wrote there, called Mishneh Torah. He wrote that Ba'me'ara shehitchaber sham be'eser shanim, in a cave that he had to hide inside the cave for 10 years straight. That was the Rambam's life. 10 years straight he had to hide in a cave. And what did he do in that cave? Did he complain? Was he miserable? Did he have ta'anot on the whole world? No. He wrote the greatest sefer that until today every single Jewish home has. And we spend hundreds of hours to understand one little chapter, one little letter that says over there. And why did he have to hide for 10 years? Mipnei kfiyah lehamarat hadat ma'yishma'elim haresha'im. Because the Muslims, the evil Muslims, wanted to make him switch his religion. Ve'amar Abba, this Rab Leib says, my father, the Chafetz Chaim, said, Shirak be'ofen kazeh haya efshar lo lechaber chibur gadol u'mevorach kazeh. Only under those circumstances of 10 years hiding in a cave to save his religion, only that way was he able, the holy Rambam, to be able to write such a special sefer, the Mishneh Torah. That's where he got his greatness from. You think we're done? No, this is a hard enough life, right? We wouldn't want such a life, would we? We're only beginning. This same Rambam writes letters from that time on himself. And because he wasn't willing to take a rabbinic post for money, because that was the Rambam's opinion, that you're not allowed to make money on Torah, he decided that he's going to go learn medicine. Like this, he should have money. And it was only after he got to over half the years that he lived, he married a girl from Egypt, and then finally he got a job by the doctors in the kingdom, and he started having good years in his life. And he had 35 years that were considered the good years of his life, that were easy without many problems. How old was he when these 35 years started? 50 years old. For the first 50 years of his life, this is the part, the majority of his life, and this is the part we don't know about. He was hiding in caves. The Ishmaelim Arurim, they were chasing him. They wanted to make him not be a Jew. They caused him every problem until he wrote the Igeret Hashmad. But also it's brought down on the Sefarim. The Rambam had his famous son, Rabbi Avraham ben Rambam, that wrote the Sefer Maspik Lovdei Hashem, that I'm sure some of us studied. And it seems like, this is not clear, but it seems like he also had a daughter. But there was one more. He had a son. His name was David. And this son, we don't have any Sefarim from, because the child died when he was young. So even when the good times came, he still lost the child. This was the suffering of Gedolei Yisrael. Comes the Chazon Ish in his letters, and he writes in Igrot Chazon Ish, in Chelek Aleph, letter Kuf Nun Gimel, Biyoti shavur v'ratzutz kol hayamim. I was broken, I was battered my whole life. V'lo zachiti l'shum oneg mita'anugei hachayim. I never merited any pleasure from the pleasures of life. Nosaf l'ke'evei haguf u'shvirato kol hayamim. Besides for my body's pain and its broken aspects to it my whole life. But he had one thing. Ha'oneg hayichidi, the real pleasure, the great pleasure that I did have in my life. Huli la'asot ritzon koni, that I should be able to keep the Torah and mitzvot of Borei Olam, to do Hashem's will. Ve'ein li tzar yoter, and my biggest pain in my life is not my struggles, and not my suffering, and not my pain, and not everything, not his body, and everything else that he describes there. Hatzar, the big tsar, what's his biggest suffering? Is kishalon ha'avon, is God forbid to do a sin. The Gdol Ador of our previous generation, Chazon Ish, witnesses about himself. I had the merit at the age of 14 to hear Rav Shach say these words to me. He said, in my life I never had a good day. From the time I was a young child I struggled and I was bounced from place to place. And then he told me over the course of 10 minutes a long story that he condensed in 10 minutes of all the problems he had and how he didn't see his parents from such a young age, and the struggles and the poverty. He said at night he used to sleep on a bench, he would tremble because it was so cold, and he didn't even have what to cover himself with. Finally, a couple of years later, a lady gave him an old used coat that he used to use as a blanket at night. And he had such akarat hatov for that coat, because that's what saved him in the cold, that when this lady, over 60 years later in Israel, passed away, Rav Shach, who then was a man of his 80s at least, went to her funeral. Because 60 years earlier, she gave him an old used coat. And then he said these words, and based on these words, they even wrote a sefer about Rav Shach. Lulei toratcha sha'ashuai, az avadati be'oni. If I didn't have the Holy Torah, I would have been lost in my pain and my suffering. But what kept me going? What kept me strong in the rough times? What gave me the chizuk that I needed? What kept me happy? The Torah that I studied, the mitzvot that I kept, the students that I had. Chazon Ish never had kids, but he had all the kids in the world. The whole Am Yisrael is his kids. We all study his Torah every day. Many other Gdolim never had kids, but they had all the kids in the world. They had Am Yisrael on a silver platter. They had everything. Because the Torah helps us strengthen our Emunah. And when a person has Emunah, he has no problems. Because what Emunah really means is, I know everything that Borei Olam does is 100% for the good, even though it doesn't seem that good. Based on this comes Moshe Rabbeinu to Borei Olam. And this biur is not mine, it says it in a sefer called Ki Ata Imadi. And he tells Borei Olam like this, that tzaddikim suffer, I understand. Nisyonot, it's the tests of life. Borei Olam gives them nisyonot. That they go through hardships, I understand. That's all part of the nisyonot. Like the pasuk in Tehillim says, Natati li re'echa neslit noses. Rashi says, I give Yirei Shamayim tests to see if they'll stand by the tests. Yosef HaTzadik had the biggest nisayon ever, Eshet Potifar. That I understand. But why tzaddik v'tov lo? What's the tov part? If the goal is to test, so why good? Just test him his whole life. Why do the years split? Some years good, some years not so good. And in our lives we could ask, why do the days split? One day I wake up on the right side, the next day I wake up on the left side. And the third day I wake up on the right side, but my mother makes me turn to the left right away, because she woke up on the left side. Why like that? Just let it be good. Or if the goal is a test, God forbid, shouldn't even say the words out of our mouths. What's that balance? Comes Borei Olam, and Borei Olam tells him, you don't understand. Every person is tested in a different way. Everything is a test. Life is a test. But to each person, there's a different element of a test, a different aspect. And to every phase in life, there are different tests. One person, by nature, is very calm, peaceful, never gets angry, very mellow, takes everything with an easy attitude. To test him with getting angry is not a test, it's pointless. Because he's not going to fail, of course he's going to pass, that's his nature. Another person is hot-blooded, every second he's blowing up at somebody else, he never has a nice thing to say. To test him with anger is a test, because you see how hard it is for him to pass. One person, to make him rich is not a test, it's the biggest favor to the Jewish community, because he's going to give it all to charity anyway. A person who helps everybody. Another person, he becomes rich, he thinks he owns the world. Everybody has to bow down to him now, I have money. To him, it's a big test, it's a bitter test. And the same thing in everything in life. So Moshe Rabbeinu was answered by Olam. At one point in the Tzaddik's life, we gave him one test. And in the other point in the Tzaddik's life, we gave him another test. Sometimes the test is Tzaddik Viralo, that it's hard for him. And sometimes the test is, it's good for him, and now what's he going to use the good for? When it's hard for you, it's an easy test, because if you fail, you have a good excuse at least. When it's good for you, it's a very hard test. As the Gemara says, Gadol onsho shel Lavan me onsho shel Tchelet. In the times of the Bet Mikdash, and I stress only in those times, not today, they used to wear tzitzit. There was 7 strings white and 1 string blue. Today, some people also have extra blue paint, so they wear 1 string blue, but we understand that the Midrash says not to do so, so we don't do so. And none of our Sfardik Dolei Israel ever did so, so let's not try to outsmart them. Chamavadi doesn't wear a blue string, and Chaim Tzion Abba Shaul didn't wear a blue string, Chaim Ezra Atiyah didn't wear a blue string. None of our Gdolim did it, so we're not greater than them. Let's not get confused. The Gemara says a guy doesn't put on tzitzit. But Olam's going to come to him with 2 separate cases. You didn't put on the blue string part when you had to? Okay, that was hard to get. It's not so readily available. Had to come from a fish, and it's a complicated thing. The white strings, that was the easiest thing to do. Gadol onsho shel Lavan, Borei Olam's going to come to you and go after you on the white ones more than on the blue one. Because the blue one was hard, so at least there's an excuse. The white ones were so easy. I always say over in the name of Abdesla that a person has to be careful to keep the easy mitzvah before he does the hard mitzvah. Even though the hard mitzvot, in a way, are much more hamur and much more important. But the easy mitzvot there's no excuse for. What's the big deal to smile to somebody? It's so hard for you to smile. What's the big deal to do chesed, to give somebody a ride? It takes you 30 seconds out of your way. What's the excuse not to do it? The big mitzvot of today, Shmirat Einayim, Kedusha, these are big tests already. Hashem should help, we should all keep them, but if we fail, okay, it's a big test. At least there's an excuse. The easy things, the day-to-day, there's no big deal. What's the big deal? You put on a shirt in the morning. It's so hard to put on tzitzit before you put on the shirt. It's such a big problem. Now it's the winter. There's no more excuse. It's hot. And for those who say it's itchy, they made it in cotton and in undershirt material and this material. And now they did it in every way, shape, and form. But Olam made a fashion designer told me that now that, I hope it's true. I hope he didn't mislead me. So don't hold me to it if I'm wrong. Thank God I don't know this field. But he told me that now in the winter season this year, the fashion was very modest. So that was what was in style. He said, if you look at all the expensive designers, they made very modest clothes. So now not to dress tzniut is a double sin. What's the nisayon? Hey, you say you want to be in style, so that's what's in style. It's a double problem. It's a strike 2. So everybody has his test that's in life. Now if you look at life as a series of nisyonot, of tests, so then you always feel accomplished, because I overcome tests every hour of the day. And you always feel good. And exactly what otherwise would have upset you now becomes a challenge. And a challenge you're willing to do. I saw an interesting episode one day. I think there's a strong point that we can make from here. I saw a guy, it was a short period in my life that I decided I'm going to go to the gym. 3 days a week to the gym. If you want to know how many days it lasted, 2. I never even made it through the first week. And I was always wondering, and then I forgot to cancel my membership, so for a year I paid for 2 times that I went to the gym. But at the end of that year, when I realized I paid for no reason, I was wondering, why did God send me there? And I got my answer the same day that question happened. Now, I'm not mocking going to the gym, by the way. If you go to a place that, according to Halakha, is mutar, it's a big mitzvah, v'nishmatem ol nafshotechem, and all the doctors agree we could save a lot of health problems later on in life by being in good shape and keeping good fitness in the younger years. And it's an important thing. You do a mitzvah, just like putting on tefillin, you're on the treadmill, you're doing a mitzvah. You're keeping your body healthy, that's what Borei Olam wants. But, whatever, it didn't work in my schedule, what should I do? I have a different gym. Making Jews stronger. I'm a personal trainer. Anyway, I remembered that there was a guy, an Orthodox Jew. who the first out of the 2 days that I went to the gym was there together with me. And he was lifting weights that probably weighed double what I weigh. And he was sweating and making noises, and I almost thought the dog barking in the place. It was a funny scene. And it was so weird to me because I was a naive kid. I didn't know this stuff. That I didn't even see what the pleasure was in it. Like, what's the point? Okay. 1 year later, when I'm thinking about why Borei Olam sent me there for 2 days and then wasted my money a whole year, I see the same guy with his wife in the grocery store. Just his leg could eat me for breakfast. And his wife is carrying the box out. And he's walking, talking on his cell phone. So I went to the guy. I don't know how to control myself in these things. I'm sorry. When I see something that's wrong, I have to say something. I said, my dear friend, we were once gym friends, you remember? He says, what, for a day and a half? I said, no, actually 2 days. I said, I see you in the morning lifting things, 2, 3, I don't know how many 100 pounds. I'm guessing 200, 300 pounds based on your facial expressions. Here is a box that weighs 15 pounds. You give it to your wife to carry? You're into carrying. Why don't you lift the box up a little bit for her? And his wife is smiling and saying, Rabbi, I'm becoming your student as of today. You know what he tells me? He says, Rabbi, you won't believe it, but you want an honest answer? I said, yeah. He says, to lift a 15-pound box for my wife feels like 1,500 pounds in the gym. You know what he really said? When I'm in the gym, I want to lift. Because I have this goal to have a, how's it called, a triangle body? A 6-pack, a 12-pack? Not as a sale, 2 for the price of 1. You buy 6, you get 6 free. So he has a goal, so he's going to lift. But his wife, lo aleinu v'lo alechem, is not important to him. So he doesn't have the goal. So 15 pounds for her is like 1,500 pounds in the gym. If you have a goal, if you have a purpose in life, that's why Borei Olam sent me to that gym, to hear this from this guy a year later. If you understand that a person was created because Olam Hazeh prosdor, this is just the hallway to Olam Haba, then nothing's heavy. It's all part of the gym. Every test, every yisurim, every suffering that we should never have, lohem v'lo scharam, but God forbid everybody goes through something in life, is all part of getting closer to Borei Olam. So it's not a problem. It's a good thing. But if you don't have a goal, if you're leading life aimlessly, whatever, let's see where life takes me, blah, blah. A life like that, so then everything hurts along the way. And then you're upset, and then this, and then that. Then you have all the complaints in the world on everybody. And now let me tell you a brilliant, brilliant pshat that a special, special Jew who doesn't want his name to be mentioned in public, that's why I'm not saying his name, even though I would love to, wrote a letter to himself. Some people write to themselves. That thank God we got a hold of. When he was sitting at the bedside of his son that was critically ill, lo aleinu v'lo alechem, almost in Olam Haba. Thank God B'nai Nisim, the kid got healthy later on. Listen to what a father writes in such a situation. I'm going to read you the words because the words are so precious. Chashavti la'atzmi. He writes, I thought to myself, Al ma she'anachnu mivarchim b'chol yom, on the beracha that we say every day, she'asali kol tzorchi. Borei Olam gave me everything I need. He created for me everything. Keitzad efo yesh anashim shenishbarim. If that's the case, how could there be people that are broken? Hechan hakochot hagdolim shehem zkukim. Why is a person broken? Why is a person sad, depressed? Because he's lacking energy, right? He's lacking strength. A person, strong person, doesn't break. We say in the morning a beracha, she'asali kol tzorki, that Borei Olam gives us everything we need. How could it be that there's depressed people? Where's the strength that we need to overcome the depression? Where's the strength that we need to prevent the depression in the first place? Why does a person cry? Why is he sad? Why is he upset? Where's the strength? You said the beracha how many times in your life? 5,000, 10,000, 20,000? You ever thought about it? No, we read it. We want to be mekayem, be the sechvi from the beginning, and then just read it like that. Lip service. Where is it? And listen to what a father writes by the bedside of his son. V'chashavti, and I thought, and this is brilliant, if you apply this in your lives, all the problems go away. It's amazing. I've been practicing it in the past 2 days. I'll tell you, my quality of life doubled. Literally doubled. V'chashavti, he says, I thought to myself, Ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu Borei Olam, Omnam noten lo la'adam et ha'kachot hanidrashim lo. He gives him all the strength that he needs. Ela, listen to this. Noten lo et ha'kochot שהוא זקוק להם באותו יום בלבד. He gives him every day again the strength that he needs to get through that day alone. Because that's all he needs. He doesn't need tomorrow's strength, he needs today's strength. הוא לא נותן לו היום את הכוחות שיצטרך מחר. He doesn't give him today the strength that he's going to need tomorrow. He only gives him the strength today that he needs for today. But what happens? Ha'adam b'dimyono, a person with his fantasies and his imagination, mehashev hayom et hakshayim imahem yitmoded ba'atid. He's already planning when he's going to be 90. There's a nickname for it. It's called an IRA. So already now he's worrying, how am I going to marry off my grandchildren? But Borei Olam never gave him the strength to deal with that, because that's not today's problem. That's not today's situation. That's down the line. Ba'od shana, a year away, od shnatayim, 10 shanim, ma yeh im shiduchim, what's going to be with my kids' shiduchim, yeter achim, my brothers, how are they going to get married, kayotze bazeh, all the other problems like this. V'al kach be'emet, and on this, he doesn't get the strength for that. And he says, and that's why a person breaks. We're so busy worrying about tomorrow that we can't live today. But Borei Olam didn't give you the strength to deal with tomorrow. Tomorrow is tomorrow, it's not today. He only gave you the strength to deal with today. So if you'll stick to today, this holy Jew writes in his letter, Ala adam le'amin ki hayom yesh lo et hakelim shu zakuk lahem hayom. Whatever you need for today, you have. And that's the beracha. She'asali kol tzorki. Borei Olam, thank you for giving me everything that I need for today. That I have everything. Ma yela kelim machar. What's going to be with tomorrow? God will send them the tools tomorrow to deal with tomorrow. What a brilliant explanation to life. And when I saw this 2 nights ago, the next morning I woke up to what seemed to be a problem. And quickly I caught myself and I said, wait a second. This problem, does it affect me today? Or am I worrying about 3 weeks from now? If it's about 3 weeks from now, God never gave me the strength to deal with 3 weeks from now. I'm going to fail. So forget about it. We'll deal with it when it comes. And for today's problems, I'm fine. For today, I have everything I need. If you live life like that, no worry, no pain, no suffering, no sadness, no depression, no stress, no anger, everything that reduces the quality of life disappears. I'm telling you again, in the past 2 days, my quality of life doubled. And thank God it was always great. Ken Yiten V'chen Yosif, Hashem should always give it better. But it still doubled. Calm. I told this over to a friend. When I see or hear something good, I got to share it with somebody. So I have a list in my phone, in my contacts, of people that are under a category. You know, today's phones are sophisticated. You can categorize everybody. Now, some people have these people I like, these a little less, these I hate, but that's not by me. I have different categories. Amongst them, one category of people that are available to call 24 hours a day. And then there's subcategories. Some people work in Hatzalah. They say, call me anytime if anybody needs medical help. Some people are chesed. Some people and then I have a small group of wonderful boys and girls from around the world and say, Rabbi, if you ever have a good story or a good chidush that you want to share with me, 24 hours a day call. That is a little complicated. It's not just that they wake up from the phone call. And trust me, I call freely. I don't think. They said they want it. You're not allowed to hear Torah before you say Birkat Torah. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and the guy wakes up, and he has to get out of bed, go do Netilat Yadayim, Birkat Torah, and now hear the Chidush. And then good luck falling back asleep. But these are people that love Torah, so to get a Chidush, they'll do anything. So I called one of these guys. I said, you wouldn't believe it. Listen to a letter that I just read. What an unbelievable explanation in a baracha that we make every day. We got to try to do this. This is going to better our lives. And the guy calls me less than 12 hours later. I called him 2:45 a.m. He called me back 2:30 p.m., 11 hours and 45 minutes later. Laughing hysterically, he can't even talk, he's laughing so much. I said, what's so funny? You get to the point, and if you have a good joke, that would be good. I'm on my way to a class now, I need one. I told him I have a cute story. He says, what? I said, I was in the car in New York City, and it was click it or tick it, or I don't know how it goes, the rhyming thing. I'm not a rapper, but something along the lines that they had a crackdown. If you don't wear seatbelts, you get tickets this week in the city. So they had a bunch of cops on bicycles looking. That's the problem. All the crime is not an issue anymore. The economy is not an issue, but the problem is the seatbelt that you are or aren't wearing. And they're giving out tickets like crazy. And he says, and one of these guys comes up to my window, and I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and he's about to start writing out a ticket. And when he starts writing out a ticket, I'm smiling and I'm thanking him and I'm blessing him. I'm telling you, you're the greatest man in the world, and I love you and you're unbelievable. Thank you so much, you made my day. And he says, and this guy looks back at me and tells me, are you nuts? I said, what do you mean? He said, most people, I come to give them a ticket, I'm scared to even write it. They're cursing me, they're threatening me, I'll see you in court, I'll this, I'll that. He says, and that's the best case scenario. Oh, maybe you don't realize there's a ticket you have to pay, it costs you money, it affects your insurance. And this guy, with his simple faith, turns to the guy and says, you understand? You said that you're going to give me a ticket and I have 15 days to respond. So that's not my worry today. That's my worry in 15 days from now. So why should I be upset? I'm so happy, it's great. And he said, and now imagine I'm driving and I need to write down a phone number. I didn't have paper in the car, now I have where to write my number down. So you might even be doing me a big favor. It could be because of this $70 ticket. I'll make a $2,000 business deal. And the guy says, all right, put on a seatbelt and have a good day. He says, Rabbi, it worked. I told him it's not, it worked. Emunah worked. What Olam saw, you accept it, you're not upset. So what, now what? So he said, so you passed the test. You passed the test. There's no more reason to test you. No more reason to test you. Boom, you're off the hook. But that only works, as we spoke in the earlier shiur too, if we understand clearly and we honestly believe, number one, Kol man de'avid rachmana l'tav avid, everything in life is for the good. And number two, that we understand the value of Torah, that Torah is the most amazing thing in the world. I'd like to end off with a story. I'll be honest with you. Tonight, I was planning on giving a completely different shiur, which Bli Neder, I will give in 2 weeks from now, about Rabbanit Kanievsky, Zichronah Livracha. I think it's not right that we didn't dedicate an entire class just to outline her life a little bit, and I feel uncomfortable with that, so that's what I was really planning on doing. And if you want to see, I never come with papers. Tonight I even came with a paper with a list of 52 stories about her life. So that'll be for next time. But one story I got to share with you, which didn't happen with her, but it's a story that she told over. Listen to this. A lady in Bnei Brak is married to a guy who's an Avrech, Kolel student, Talmid Chacham Yirei Shamayim. 10 years after they're married, Ben Porat Yosef, they have 6-7 children, but the bank account doesn't have anything inside. Maybe a negative sign, but that's it. The wife comes to her husband and he says, honey, listen, I respect your learning, I love your learning, I do everything to support your learning. You see, I even work, even though I have so many kids, but we're not making ends meet. God forbid, I don't want you to go to business, that's not what I'm coming to you for. But at least get a job as a rabbi somewhere, or as a teacher, a rebbe, and something. You make a few dollars, it'll help out. We can't live like this anymore. And the guy turns to his wife and he says, I'll tell you the truth, I don't want to do it. Not because I'm not responsible, Because if I'm going to be a rabbi, I'm going to be distracted with the problems of the community. I'm not going to be able to study. Today I study 15, 16 hours a day pure, without anything. I can't do it. And instead of this tzaddiket getting upset and yelling at him, wow, we need money, food, be responsible, you send the ketubah, you'll provide for me, what type of husband are you, etc., etc., etc. Thank God she was normal. She did the opposite extreme. Listen to this. She comes to her husband at the end of the day. Mehila, what I said this morning, I take it back. You continue learning, make believe I didn't say anything. But I want to ask you permission for one favor. I said, fine, whatever you want. What do you want? He says, I went through everything we have, and the most valuable thing, price-wise, that we own is the diamond ring that you gave me when we got engaged. I want to know if you allow me to go to a jeweler and to sell the ring. So like this, with that money, it'll keep us going for a few more months. And you'll be able to continue studying Torah. You know what that is? For a woman, us guys will never relate to this at all. For a woman to take a diamond ring and to sell it, it's a nisayon. It's like almost pulling a guy's heart out. About the same. And the husband says, if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. My learning is most important. And this hero, this tzaddiket, goes to a diamond dealer. And the guy has an honest reputation in town. Because there are a lot of people, they undercut. Sometimes people brag to me, Rabbi, you won't believe what happened. A guy came in today, cash for gold, whatever. I paid him 5 cents on a dollar. I said, you're proud? You're a crook. You should be embarrassed to talk like that. Go right now and give him the money that he should have got. You're a lowlife. What'd you do? You stole from another person. If he was a Jew, you stole from a Jew. I fooled the bank. I made a short sale and I sold it to myself. That's not something to be proud of. You're a crook. You're a thief. You stole. That's what you're proud of? Besides, dinah de malchuta dinah, you violated a law. It's halakha and shulchan aruch to respect law. She goes to an honest guy. The guy looks at her and says, woman, I never saw this before. Why would you sell your diamond? It's crazy. And she tells him the whole story. This guy hears the story of a Jewish woman that's sacrificing her diamond so her husband should study Torah. And he tells her, listen, right now I don't have cash available to buy it off of you, but I have a brother who's a very big diamond dealer. He definitely has cash available. Go to him. Gives her a name, an address, a phone number, go to him right away. She goes to the address a few blocks away, knocks on the door, you're Ezra so-and-so, yeah, it's me. Your brother sent me, he said he doesn't have cash right now, you're a diamond dealer, I'm trying to sell my diamond. And he said, what? I'm no diamond dealer, I work in real estate, what do you want from me? But wait a second, my brother sent you? He knows. Wait. Why are you selling your diamond? She tells him the story. And he's one of the wealthiest people in Bnei Brak. And there's a man with a Jewish heart. And he has tears coming down his face. And he says, I understand exactly why my brother sent you to me. You keep your diamond on your finger. And from today until your husband's 120, I promise you I support you and your family for the rest of your lives. And today the guy is sitting and studying Torah v'nachat. Because when Hashem sees you pass the test, there's no reason to test you anymore. Her test was, what's more important, the Gemara or a diamond ring? And when she passed and the Gemara was more important, so she got rewarded on the spot. From there on, she had an easy life. And at the same time, look what precious Jews there are, that a man would tell a total stranger, I'll support you my whole life, just because her husband's studying Torah. That's what happens when we understand that everything in the world is from Borei Olam. And if it's God's money, it's very easy to give God's money away. If it's my money, it's very hard to give it away. And if it's God's money, so I'm never missing money, because He has enough. And if it's my money, so then I am missing money. And the same thing in everything else in life. May Borei Olam bless us that we should always feel the pleasure of Ki Ata Imadi, that He's always with us. And with that chizuk and emunah, and with the understanding of she'asali kol tzorki, we should always live a fulfilled life, feeling that we have everything we need. Bruchim to you, amen ve'amen.